Hello, everyone, and welcome to Abnormal Investigations. We had a slight technical issue. I got it all worked out. We should be ready to rock and roll. StreamYard's been giving me a little trouble, as y'all know, but I think we got everything up and running right now. We're going to have Kaylee in the chat here in just a little bit. You will have to excuse my allergies tonight. I have been taking everything under the sun, but for some reason, my allergies are bothering me, and I think it's because they're haying all around me. Everybody's cutting hay right now, hauling hay right now, cutting hay, raking hay. I don't know, eating hay, selling hay, shipping hay. You know what I mean? Cows are eating hay. A lot of hay going on around here, so it's got a lot of allergies stirred up, so it's got me pretty stirred up. So who we got in chat tonight? We got Cajun Christie in here. We got Amy Tongue in here tonight. Sherry Houghton, good to see you. Belinda Kruger moderating tonight. Thank you, Belinda, for being here. Moderators are awesome. We got Randy Petticourt moderating tonight. Good to see you, Randy. Chickadee, Cajun Christie. Romans is here tonight. Always good to see Romans. Lisa's moderating. Butterfly Life moderating. Got a lot of great moderators in here tonight. Michelle McGuire, the one and only, is here tonight. We got Kaylee is going to be in here, I think, here in just a little bit. We got Tim Wrestler moderating. Tim, always good to see you. Nancy, always good to see you. And we got, who is that? We got Kelly UL9RP. Good to see you. Kind of like CPR 3R4 or VR 549 in here tonight. We got, looks like Keith Blunt in here tonight. We got Cajun Christie, I think I already said her name, Nancy. And we know that Silver Bullet will be here in just a little bit, along with a lot of other people I'm sure that will be showing up in chat tonight. Tonight we have a really good show for you guys. I was asked to go over the Dennis Martin case, and I know this case has been looked at by about every podcaster in the community. Hello, Jade. Good to see you. I was surprised that I was actually asked to do this investigation because, I mean, it is one that has been looked at from almost every angle. I was asked for my opinion. Some people, I guess, value my opinion still yet, so I do appreciate that. Orphan is in here. Good to see you, Orphan. Ellen Smith, good to see you. Good to see everybody showing up tonight. I see a lot of old names. Let me go ahead and we'll get Randy in here in just a second. We got, let's see, Jesse's going to be out. She had personal business to take care of tonight. And sitting in for Jesse is the Amanda will be joining us tonight on this show. And I believe she also knows a little bit about this case. So it should make for a very interesting conversation tonight. I promised everybody tonight that, well, we'll talk about that in just a second. So if Randy's ready, he'll give me the thumbs up and I'll bring him on as soon as he's ready. And as soon as Amanda's ready, there's Randy's got the thumbs up. He's ready. There's Randy and Amanda, everybody.
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Hi, Randy. Hi, Mike.
Hey. Hello, Amanda. Hello, Randy. It's been a while, Amanda.
I know. Good to see you guys again. I missed y'all.
You must be doing that thing called work, right?
Yes, I've been working my butt off.
Ugh.
Working
well,
noon to 9, Monday through Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing a good job at what you do. You're needed, and that's the important thing. You're making a difference.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. So tonight, I told everybody for some reason wanted my opinion on this case. This case has been looked at, like I said, by just about every, I think, channel on here. Hey, Dan, what's going on? OCST, good to see you, Harold Chickadee. I see a lot of people showing up in here. I'm going to give my opinion at the end of this discussion. What I'm going to do is we'll go through it like I normally do. I'm going to give you all information, and as always, I love to hear your all's thoughts and stuff. And we'll see if my theory changes at the end of this. If maybe y'all can change my theory based on some of your theories. But I do have my theory written down. I promised everybody that I would give my theory. So everybody, it's going to be a little bit. I went kind of in depth on this one because I wanted to kind of hit this one a little bit different than anybody has. Hopefully we can come up with some answers here tonight. Maybe if not, but either way, guys, the sad thing about this one is we all know that it does not have a good outcome. Unfortunately, a child was lost, and that's always the sad part. So, Randy, Amanda, y'all got anything you want to say before we jump right into this one?
I just want to say hi to everyone in chat, and I've missed you guys too, and I love all of you so much.
We have a lot of great people.
Hi, everybody.
We're going to try to get Randy wound up tonight too. I think what I want to do is I want to send Randy my cat. She does not like me, Randy.
Have you tried feeding it tuna?
Yeah, and it decided it liked my fingers better.
Well, maybe that'll change when your son gets home.
Yeah, you're right, though. It is his cat. He's the one so, yeah.
And
He can have her.
Cats adopt you. It's not the other way around. They either like you or they don't like you. And evidently, that cat don't like you.
Absolutely, it does not like me.
Randy is spot on with that one. Cats do what they want, and they don't care.
I'll just from a cartoon, Lady and the Tramp, the little Siamese cats, the twin cats. We are Siamese, if you please. We are Siamese, if you don't please. That's their attitude.
That is so their attitude. Knocking stuff over.
We had a Siamese cat when I was a kid, and that thing would attack any dog. Didn't matter how big or how small that came in the neighborhood. German Shepherd. I mean, I don't care how big the dog was. That cat would send it packing. That was the meanest cat I'd ever seen when it came to defending its territory against dogs.
I had a few of those ones when we lived up in the mountains because they were outdoor cats and they weren't scared of bears. They weren't scared of nothing. It was crazy.
And there's videos on YouTube and other social media platforms. I've seen cats defending off alligators. It's hard to believe, but it's true. And cats can take snakes. Snakes don't really stand a chance against the cat because the cat reflexes are so much quicker than the snake strike.
Yeah, big cats eat rattlesnakes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my cats out here, they eat rattlesnakes. I think I filmed it.
The honey badger is one of my favorite creatures. They're just mean as hell, and they're not afraid.
They're cute. They're cute though. I think they're cute.
Yes, they are.
We got Miss Dana Ortega just showed up too, guys. Wouldn't be alive without Dana. Good to see you, Dana.
Hi, Dana.
So, Randy, I'll start with you first. You don't have to go a whole lot into it, but just a little bit of your thoughts on the case tonight.
I'm just going to save it for the end.
For the end?
Yeah, I don't know what else new material you're going to say, so until I hear the end, I'm going to hold off. I really don't have anything new to add. So let's see what you're going to add to the story, and then I'll give you my opinion when I know more detail.
He's playing it safe. Amanda, anything you would like to say? I know that you know a little bit about this case, right?
I know a lot about this case, but I don't want to jump into anything because I don't know which angle you're going to be, because there's a few different ways that this case could go, and there's so much different things involved in it. So I'll wait and just interact with you while you're telling it. And if you if there's something that I need to add or then I'll help you.
And just give a little disclaimer on myself, as I cannot take full credit for this. I may or may not have spoke to a detective in gathering some of the information that I'm going to share with you all tonight. I pulled my resources tonight and worked with some colleagues, and I have information that I'm going to share with you guys. So kind of felt like I was back at work. Kind of felt good. But
awesome.
Yeah, I forgot so much stuff. It's not even funny. So jumping into this, everybody knows, I'm pretty sure, and if you're not familiar with it, it's easy to find. What we're going to be talking about tonight is Dennis Martin. Dennis Martin went missing. It would be June 14th, 1969. So a little bit before I was even born. He went missing at the age of 6. He was almost 7 years old. The location he went missing at was the Great Smoky Mountains. He was never located. Now I want y'all to remember this here. The moon phase on the night that he went missing was a new moon. So we're talking a very dark night, and it was right before a storm front.
Yeah.
It was the weekend of Father's Day on 1969. Dennis Martin was in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park on a trip with a group, which included his father, grandfather, and 9-year-old brother. The case files revealed the group was in the area of the Spence Field along the Appalachian Trail after staying the night at a shelter cabin on the west end of the field. Now, my opinion is, and based on that right there, and this is going to be speculative, but my opinion is, you notice how they said that they had already stayed the night there, and we know that he went missing. My opinion is whatever took him or caused his disappearance had already probably been stalking him and had its, I'm not going to say necessarily just its eye on him, but it was watching the family and the children, I believe, looking for the opportunity. It knew they were there. I don't think we go to the woods, and I'm not saying this is creature. I'm not saying this is man. I'm probably going to surprise everybody at the end with my theory on what happened. But whatever it was, I think was on that mountain with bad intentions. We'll put it that way. I think it was already in the works at this point. Is that what you think also, Amanda?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
I think that something was there already with that intention of doing harm.
Me too. And like you said, I think that it had been following them because they had been there since the previous day and camped overnight already.
Right. That's kind of what I think too. I think they kind of get their eyes set on you, and for some reason there's that drive. I don't know what that drive is, though. I would love to find out what that drive. There's a drive there. It seems like.
Yeah, they're opportunists.
You're on the receiving end of that drive, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to be on the receiving end. I feel like I almost have been. So, as the adults in the group, they sat in a grassy area of the field on the southwest area of Anthony Creek trailhead. Now, Martin, his brother, and 2 other boys were playing near the trailhead. The National Missing and Unidentified Persons System said that the boys were playing hide and seek. Okay, so I do what I do. I'm a digger, and that's what I did at my job. Is I try to go beyond the obvious. Okay, so looking at this and reading this, what I started seeing immediately was, in my mind, something's off. Okay, and the reason I say that is because whenever you start looking at this and you know the outcome of the situation and you're looking at the whole thing, you got the adults in the group sat in a grassy area of the field to the southwest of the Anthony Creek trailhead. Now, you got water present also, which we know that that's a big factor. Martin, his brother, and 2 other boys were playing near the trailhead. Now, the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, this is the actual report, okay? This is the report, stated the person system that the boys were playing hide and seek, okay? That was the official, that is in the report. That's what made it to the report. But then I had a problem. When I started digging deeper into it, I found out that the case file on this says that the boys decided to sneak up on the adults and that they split up. The 3 other boys went south and then west, while Martin went northwest and was supposed to loop back to the north and surprise the adults. Instead, the last time anyone saw Martin was when the boys parted ways at about 4:30 p.m. And remember the time, 4:30 p.m. That's going to be important later on. But to me, when you look at a missing child, when you're doing an investigation, the little things are the big things, okay? And what I found kind of weird was two things. Is they said the boys were playing hide and go seek, which the case file doesn't say that. The case file says that the boys were going to try to scare the adults. Another thing is they said they were playing near the trailhead, but if you go and you look at the case file, it says that they were actually moving down the trail and the kids separated to loop around to try to scare the adults. So already we're having a little bit of, I'm just going to call it simple inconsistencies between the file and the case file. I think that there was just a little bit of inconsistencies, but the 4:30 p.m. is going to be very important as we move on through this. Anything y'all would like to add to that? I'm going to check chat real quick.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of inconsistencies with this case. Like, so much. There's so many different stories and so many different people involved in this whole thing. Like, so much inconsistencies. If you watch like a bunch of different people do the stories, everyone has something different, and it's like crazy because you're like, okay, what's the real story?
I agree. There was a lot of different things that were said by different groups that almost at points completely contradict one another.
100%, 100%. Like that's the thing that gets me with this whole case is just the inconsistencies in everything that's put out there.
Right. That is one of my goals tonight. Whenever I give you all my theory, is to try to remove the inconsistencies and to try to give you all a theory, evidence-based opinion. That is my goal tonight, and I hope that I can give that to you guys. According to a timeline in the case file, Martin's father said he became concerned about 3 to 5 minutes after the last time Martin was last seen, and he began calling for him. He began searching the Appalachian Trail, returned thinking that Martin might be back with the rest of the group, and then continued the search. The Appalachian Trail, shortly before 8:30 p.m., Martin's grandfather notified rangers in Cades Cove that the boy was missing. So, the boy went missing at approximately 4:30 p.m. The authorities were notified at 8:30. We're talking 4 hours before any authorities were notified that the child was missing. Due to the circumstances, due to the remoteness that they were at and everything, I will pardon the 4 hours. Don't really want to, but it's going to play a factor later on that I think it's really not going to matter. But yeah, that really bothered me a little bit, but not enough to where I was like, oh, that's the smoking gun. I just didn't see that. Not there anyways. As we move forward, there is things that I found that really started interesting me. Although there were attempts to search that night, the timeline notes that heavy rain and thunderstorms hampered the efforts with an estimated 2.5 inches of rain in the area. The search had to be halted. The streams in the area were reported as high and turbulent. Rangers and family members searched the immediate area around where Martin was last seen throughout the night, and the chief ranger set up a plan for the next morning. Okay, so child goes missing. 4 hours later, authorities are notified, and it sounds like probably it's dark time. They start searching for the kid. The storms roll in. They call off the major part of the search, and they're just searching the immediate, we'll call it the site to where Dennis Martin went missing, and they're hoping to find him within that single area. So I think it's good to take note that the immediate area that he went missing in was thoroughly searched. It sounds to me like he was definitely not in the area. Seeing that they were locked down by the storms, that they would have probably went through every bush and crook and cranny in that area because, a parent missing their child, they're going to look everywhere. So I think it's safe to say that Dennis, at this point, is not in the vicinity of where he went missing. I think he's already been removed, would be what I would say.
Agreed.
Now, another thing I noticed, and this is my opinion, this is not in the report, and I think it's important. What we have to realize, and I've spoke about this in other lives, whatever took Dennis was given extra time due to the rain and the hampered investigation. And I spoke about this the other day a little bit, and it kind of fell into the theory that I have is most of the children we find, either unalived or alive or a bear took care of me, are the ones that are found when search parties are gathered quickly, when areas are quickly searched. We got planes in the air, we got, SAR on the ground, and we're really buckling down and tightening up that area. But in this case, because of the storm, the search and rescue was hampered. So this gave whatever took this child a head start. It had overnight to be moving, in my opinion, man or beast. It had overnight to be moving with this child out of the vicinity that he was plucked from. That's my opinion. Y'all can jump in anytime if you have anything to say, because I'm having to speculate a whole lot on this, and I don't like to speculate, but really that's all we have.
I'm totally with you on what you're saying, because I think we're going to have the same outcome that we think, but I'm not sure yet. But I'm with you on everything you're saying right now. So
You're just waiting to catch me up, is what you're doing.
no, I'm not.
You're acting like my captain now. You're going to say, okay, I'm going to let you go through all this, and we're just going to see how good you get it.
No, Mike,
right.
She's being cautious, and she's playing it smart, and I don't blame her, especially with you. I mean, you've already talked about using her for bait, for critter bait, so I don't blame her.
Well, I still have that bacon necklace.
Waiting for me?
As soon as she comes to Oklahoma, she gets the bacon necklace.
All right.
That shows by her being cautious that she's got some intelligence at least. At least with you, she does.
I have a theory, and I just want to see what his is first, and then I'll tell mine.
All right, cool. We'll match theories. That'll be fun.
That will be fun.
So Sunday, June 15th, 1969, what would become one of the largest searches for a missing person in a National Park Service history at this point would begin. Now, there's something I want to clarify with y'all on this. We have to remember, just to clarify, he went missing on the 14th.
Yeah.
So this person or creature has a head start already.
A big head start.
Yes. Excuse me. Man, my allergies are terrible today.
Being able to pick up on anything, it's going to be kind of hard to track it.
Yeah, they can't track it because all the rain just ruined everything.
Yeah, so good luck on finding.
I'm actually going to blow your. I'm actually going to blow your all's mind on that as we go through this. I spoke to a professional dog handler, and I'm going to give you what he gave me, and it's probably going to make a lot of people mad. Yeah.
You probably to that now,
Randy knows me.
I've learned, Mike, you can please some of the people some of the time, but you cannot please everybody all the time. It's just not possible.
Amen. Unless you find your soulmate, right? You got to find your soulmate.
Even then, you're not going to agree on everything.
Yeah.
And if agreeing with you on everything, you better start trying to figure out what they're up to. Which they're up to. They're scheming something. Just kidding, guys.
Exactly.
Well, honey,
They want
well, honey, let's trade dinner plates tonight. I'll have yours and you have mine. And when she says, "Well, I'm not hungry no more," then you know.
Well, if you study history, poison's killed a lot of previous leaders or wannabe leaders.
Right.
True. Michelle said, "You better watch out. I'm gonna put that bacon on your back if we go."
Oh my God. Then everybody be calling me a fatback.
Guys, y'all won't need bacon with Amanda. That'll be all the bait you need. These things, I'm assure you, she's going to get her chance to see one of these creatures. Because
I don't know if I want to see a dog, man. I've already seen Bigfoot, so. But
I can
mean,
tell from his ground, the encounters seem to be increasing in intensity, and they seem to be getting less afraid. I mean, they've actually been challenging him.
yeah, I noticed that too, Randy. So
And
that's a
all
little.
that do if they stop running.
Yeah.
If they don't run and they hold
They're
the
just gonna
ground.
come out. They're just gonna come out and be like, "Hi, Mike."
Yeah. Well, the stick didn't feel so good.
Yeah, that didn't look too good.
Amanda, I think we got a new person in here too. Is asking Amanda if she's going to be investigating with me. I think that's a new person too.
I think it is a new person too, and I would if I didn't live all the way in California. I would be out there right whenever he's out. I would be out there. If I lived in Oklahoma, it'd be a no. I'd be going every time he goes out. I mean, if he let me.
What the future holds. Perhaps when we will all get a chance to get together. That'd be fun. To do a
I
group
can't wait. Yeah, we need to do that for real soon.
Have a big camp out.
Yes, that'd be so fun.
And pick the people who don't believe on the outside, so they'll be the first to see whatever comes to the camp, right?
Exactly.
Amy, I love how Amy puts this right here. That stick had hit me the other night. She said they whacked Mike like a human pinata.
They did.
That could have been a 1,700-pound rock just as easily. If they wanted to, one of those rocks would do. And
I appreciate that, Jade. I hope I don't let you down tonight with my theory.
now we'll continue.
Jade, we're glad you're here, and we hope you stick around, ladies.
Absolutely. And I hope I don't let you down. I haven't investigated officially in 10 years, so I'm rusty. So the first morning of the search began at around 5 a.m. with experienced NPS personnel, searchers checking the west prong of the Little River, right? So Anthony Creek, the drainages for the Little Bald, and the Spence Field. As they searched, a ranger also checked the Eagle Creek Trail. The only trail that had not been accounted for that night, Martin was missing. So every trail eventually was checked. Now, it didn't sit right with me. I used to approve reports, and whenever I was looking at this, I knew there had to be a lot of information left out of this. And I was like, it cannot all be there. So I made a call, and I was made information accessible to me. And I done some digging. Now, you all tell me what you think about this. Just to clarify, Dennis went missing at around 4:30 p.m. Okay? And the search and rescue started the 15th at 5 a.m. Whatever took Dennis had approximately a 12-hour head start.
Yeah.
And we know, based on, like, say, the Black Hawk, if they wanted to get out of the area, it very well could have in that time.
Right. I mean, 12 hours to me, I'm going to say, honestly, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, you have a child lost in the woods, and you're going to wait 12 hours to look for him?
And not only that, but it was storming in the Smoky Mountains. It's not hot when it's raining and stuff. It's going to be cold, and he was just a little boy all by himself.
Right.
He very
exactly.
well died of exposure. in that time frame.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Without
Don
any,
knows.
without any creatures taking the kid, just natural exposure.
I believe 100% there was a failure in the SRT teams. My opinion, just my opinion, entertainment purposes only, just my opinion.
The whole thing was a failure.
Do you think it was intentional? Was the kid sacrificed? I wonder.
No,
I,
I
bel
don't think it was intentional.
I
Do you?
No, go ahead. I want to hear your opinion. I want to hear your theory first.
I don't think it was an intentional. I just think that there was a lot of people searching, but I don't think they knew exactly what they were doing. Not the search and rescue, of course they know what they're doing, but there was a lot of people, like thousands of people searching. And I don't know. I just think that they, like you said, they waited way too long. They waited way too long to search for him. I don't think he was anywhere near there by the time they started searching for him.
I think that is a very good theory. I I would have to say that I agree with a lot of that. Um, one aspect of note in the search was that because it rained after Martin disappeared, scent tracking dogs were not used initially. Although the rain likely washed away the scent. Now, I want y'all to remember, and I want to emphasize this because this is going to be very important, okay? So, this is the actual report, okay? On one aspect of note in the search was that because it rained after Martin disappeared, scent tracking dogs were not used initially. Although the rain likely washed away the scent trail Martin would have left. When reviewing the search later, park officials noted that dogs should have been used as Martin would have created a new scent trail if he was moving after the rain passed through the area. Okay. I spoke to a friend of mine that is a dog handler, and he handles both cadaver and on the job dogs, attack dogs, whatever you want to call them, submission dogs. They're officers. They're considered police officers also, and the canine units. That information is not all correct. What a lot of people don't understand is during the beginning of a rain can actually cause the scent to be stronger, and dogs can actually pick up on a scent at the beginning of a rain that they may not find before the rain. So after a heavy downpour over a X amount of time, yes, it will wash it away. But if they would have brought the dogs out immediately, like they should have done, with the rain moving in, that would have made his scent stronger for the dogs to be able to pick up on. Now, dogs, in my opinion, were not used fast enough. I think that would have made a huge difference based on the information I learned from the officer, the canine officer. There are studies that show that rain can also help dogs detect the scent. So I went and of course, I I trust what the officer said, but I'm also an investigator, so I went and found for myself to make sure that what he was giving me was correct, right? So if anybody wants to go look that up, that is actually true. There is a huge talk about that it actually enhances even some smells that a dog may not pick up in the beginning of a rain. I believe they made a mistake not using the dogs right off, and that yes, he would have been leaving a new scent trail also. If the child is still moving and the child is crying, he's emitting tears. Tears have scent. His body has scent. His shoes have scent. But also, even being afraid if he would have soiled himself, something like that, there would have been a scent. So, not using the dogs immediately, I believe, was a very, very bad mistake. What do you all think?
I think that I think that too, that they should use the dog sooner, but I also don't think his scent was going to be anywhere because I don't believe he was on foot. I don't believe he was walking. I believe that he was carried with away. So
Very
just so
good,
his
Dr. Watson.
So his scent wouldn't be anywhere anyway. Somebody else's scent would be.
One thing, one thing that I learned by studying how dogs smell and scent works is the human body. We shed skin cells, tons of them,
Yeah.
and that's part of the way that they can track us from that scent of the skin cells. Once they get our scent, it's almost impossible under natural circumstances for them to lose that scent under normal circumstances. Once they get into a scent, they should be able to track it down to wherever that thing's at, unless there's something causing them to lose that
Yeah. We're like
Absolutely.
lizards. We shed our skin all the time.
scent. Hmm.
So, over the course of the next 2 weeks, guys, an estimated number of at least 1,800 to 2,000 searchers comb the area searching for Martin.
Yeah.
1,800 to 2,000.
The
On
biggest.
Friday, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. The biggest search they had ever had, ever.
Yes.
Now, what are the odds, given that many people on the search, and they find nothing,
Nothing.
trace?
Yeah, that's crazy.
That doesn't seem like a normal situation.
No, it
Seems
doesn't.
kind of abby normal.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. I love how chat's flying. I love y'all having that conversation over there. If I keep watching, I'm going to get caught up in your all's conversation. We got a lot of
I
smart
know.
people in
I'm
our
watching.
chat right now.
I know. I'm watching.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying I was watching the chat too.
And
We
if
have a
I've missed
lot
any
of.
chat, sorry, I'm trying to catch everybody, but hello to anybody I've missed. Chat's really swelling really fast tonight. We
Chat is
It is.
moving. Yeah, we appreciate it.
Fire.
Thank you for tuning in and supporting the Abnormal Investigation channel. We love each and every one of you guys.
We have some
And we
smart people in the chat, that's for sure.
hope that this information helps. Once again, if anybody has had any encounter that you're afraid to say anything to anybody because they might label you as crazy, you can always contact Mike and get a hold of
Yeah.
him, and I'll shoot his email up here. You want to just send your story to him, you can do that. If you don't want to, if you're afraid to share it with everybody, you can just send your story to him, and I'll get his email up here. 1 second.
So over the course of this search, guys, we're talking 1,800 to 2,000 searchers. They combed the area searching for Martin. On Friday, June 20th, the chief ranger began determining what the plan would be if Martin was found alive or dead. Okay, I got a big issue with that. Number one, you're a search and rescue team and you're trying to determine what you're going to do if you find a body dead or alive. I mean, isn't that the goal of your team is to find the body? I mean, shouldn't that be like common sense to how you're going to react to a live body to a deceased body? That to me tells me, okay, so what are y'all trying to hide here? Are you trying to hide what the boy's seen? And if the boy is deceased, what killed him? I mean,
Is this
I could, I could take that a million different ways.
For real.
is that the beginning of their deception to throw you off the scent or throw you off the trail? Is this the beginning of it? Is this
Well,
person struck?
or is it a mistake that they didn't think would be caught? Is it something that they're trying to say, because you have to understand this is shared, we're talking, the FBI, they have their code of talking, all agencies have their code and their reports of talking that I can look at and probably see things you're not going to see just because I've looked at reports for 12 years of my life. And you're going to know what people are trying to do. They're trying to convey, report writing is telling a story. That's, and that's what they want you to do is to tell a story. And, in that story, you're going to have clues, just like any good mystery movie, right? You're going to have clues. But that bothered me. But by Sunday, June 22nd, the area searched and had reached more than 56 square miles were searched with 12 and a half square miles being intensively searched. This is a huge search area, guys. A huge search area. 56 square miles.
That's
I mean,
huge.
that's huge. I mean, that's not even like, 56 miles through the country is huge, but imagine 56 square miles.
In
Of
rough
forest.
terrain.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
forest.
That's a huge different time to
Yep.
take to travel that distance.
Yeah, the terrain is out of control.
And they found nothing, not a shoe, not a piece of clothing, nothing.
Nothing.
Not nothing at all.
And, even with 56 square miles being searched, they said 12 and a half miles of that, Randy, was like intensely searched. I mean, you're talking grids, rope, everything. It was every rock, every bush, everything.
I wonder, do the officials know at this point what they might be dealing with? They have to know that there's some weird stuff out there.
Well, I think they know, but I don't think that you're going to see it on paper. I think that they're going to go with the thing that everybody goes with. They're going to go with the
No,
human animal as being the suspect.
they can't leave a paper trail. Think about the liability. If
Oh
they
yeah,
knew these out there and they're not telling the general public and they're covering up for these deaths, would somebody go to jail? Would there be legal counsel? Would there be repercussions for the people covering this up when there's innocent people being unalived by whatever's
Yep.
doing this? Would there be legal issues for people covering this stuff up? I wonder. Could that
You
be
would
another
think
reason why we have to keep it covered up? Because if the truth came out, would there be repercussions?
there should be.
oh, civil lawsuits would be out the roof.
Yeah, and not to mention how much damage that would do if something were to break out and the people were to know that, hey, there's monsters in the state and federal park. You go there, you can be eaten. That would hit them in their bottom line, the money. It's all
Yeah.
about the money. They have to keep this covered up because number one, these fans are going to prove the Bible to be true, and they can't have that because they want us to believe this lie that we come from apes. So they got to hide all the truth. They can't allow any truth to come to light that's going to break their bubble of lies and deception, in my opinion. And I think
I
this
asked.
might be clear evidence of that.
I actually asked a man face to face one time that told me that we came from monkeys and all that. And I had one question I asked him, and he actually told me. He said, "I can't answer that." I said, "If we evolved from monkeys, why is there still monkeys?"
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why isn't there a half human, half ape somewhere? It's an
Right.
evolution that creatures can evolve into another species. Well, by now, we would have evidence of that. Now, some people claim that might be what the feral people are.
No.
Right.
That's just a rumor. I'm not saying there's any weight to any of that. But there's all kinds of what is the truth and what is deception. How do you tell the lie from the truth?
That's a good question. It's hard to tell that because they just keep everything from us.
From the lie, because you can see it in the report. And
I
there's
agree.
got to be. No, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole right.
Yeah, remember, we're on regular YouTube. We're not even on a membership right now. We went pretty deep last night on the membership, guys. Probably pushed the boundaries of what we should have said. Now, we have to remember, 56 square miles, 12 and a half intensely searched is a huge area. And then this is out of the report, guys, just so you all know. Out of the report, the person that was over the whole search said, the logical search area had been reached. Nothing at all had been found. The narrative in the case file read as such. It said, Search crews on Saturday, June 21st, were estimated to be around 1,400, the highest number of the search. The next day was estimated number of searchers of 1,000, but on Monday, the number of searchers, for some reason, were decreased to 400. Searchers were removed from the Smoky Mountains without an explanation. That information is redacted by the Park Services. You cannot get that information. You can file a FOIA with the Park Services. Good luck.
Repeat that one more time. Who was forced out of the park?
All search and rescue except for 400. They were not given no explanation. And then as you go forward to try to read the rest of that, it's blacked out and it is redacted by the Park Services.
They redacted like everything from the full report.
What does that smell like? Cover up. Nothing to see here. Move along.
Right.
Just move along. Right. There's nothing to see here.
Right. You know, this is my theory again, based on that. So they, in my opinion, they did not expect to find him alive at this time. Would it be the most logical guess, is what my guess would be, and that's what I asked myself. They're saying that it's most logical to stop the search based on the amount of time gone by. They're not going to find, not going to find him, or what if they do find him alive, what are we going to do with him? So I asked myself kind of a reverse thing. Is it logical to expect to find him alive at this point? And I don't think they did. What I think, though, is that they were afraid, and I can't wait to hear y'all's opinions on this. This is what I think they was afraid of. I think that whenever you have approximately, let's just use 1,500 as a number. You have 1,500 search and rescue teams out, right? You're looking for a missing 6-year-old. Okay, Park Service and military, in my opinion, entertainment purposes only, they know what is in there. So what I think they're trying to do, it's easier to supervise 400 people than it is 1,500. It's easier to put 400 people in an area, because I'm thinking at this point, possibly, that they know that he is either, they know where he's at, or he's deceased, and they don't want them to find him that are not government employees because of what they're going to find. And I believe they're afraid at this point that people are going to start seeing things that ain't going to add up with what they're going to try to push the narrative on. So you got to get rid of those people. You got to get control of the search and rescue, and you got to place those people in an area where they're not going to find anything. We're going to put you 400 over here because we've already searched it. We know there's nothing there, but go ahead and go through that while we go, watch the right hand while the left hand takes care of what we need to take care of. And I would even, guessing at this point, they may probably already have a body.
So you're telling me they found the body, they removed 400 people, then they sent the rest of the searchers to a location that they knew the body wasn't at, so they could cover this up and sweep it under the rug. Is that what I'm detecting here?
That would be my opinion. Because wouldn't it be? It's easier to control 400 than 1,500.
Of course. Yeah. How many times have we seen movies where they do that exact same thing? Like They'll claim it's some kind of accident, and you guys need to leave the area for whatever reason.
And it's just like what Sharon is saying. They have to play it out. You know how many times I've heard them say, even in the court systems, even though they know the truth, they still got to check those boxes. We still have to check the boxes.
Yep.
So my opinion is, and I'm going to say again, I'm not saying they have the body. I'm going to say they possibly have a body at this point, or they at least have a good idea of what's happened to him. So what happens whenever we find a body in search and rescue? What happens? The search ends. You pull everybody out. There's no reason to have everybody out there.
Exactly.
They're doing the same thing here, but without a body. That don't make no sense. We're looking for a 6-year-old kid. You don't get rid of everybody but 400 people. Unless you can't control 1,500 people. And maybe people are asking questions. Maybe people are seeing things and saying, hey, man, I saw a footprint over here and this thing was huge. Or we're hearing whistles, or there's like structures that are built in here, and there's trails. And how come we're not, why are we not checking this cave over here? And, oh, no, don't worry about that. Maybe they're asking too many questions. They're like, you know what, guys, we're going to have to calm this down. We know what, and this is the upper guys. Theoretically, in my opinion, entertainment purposes only, this is satire, guys. I really don't believe this. That they were sitting at a table and they said, we know what's happened and we need to shut this down.
Possible. Very possible.
Miss Amanda?
I don't believe that part, because there's also other stuff that's involved that hasn't been brought up yet. So
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you're going to bring it up or not, but the Keys family.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? The Keys family.
Yep, that's coming.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's why. Okay. Then no, I'm not going to say anything yet.
Yeah, because I'm going to break that whole thing down.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time on that part. See, you're up to date on it.
I
So
am, and
evidently-
also, you haven't mentioned the Green Berets either.
Not yet. No.
Do we have witnesses that we're about to find out about, or somebody saw something and came forward?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now we have more new data here coming.
We're
This
about
ought to
to.
be-
That would emphasize on my theory that they pulled everybody out because they either had a body or they knew where the body was at, or where the body was. Let me add another part to it, since Amanda knows what she's talking about on this one. So I have to add another part. Or they knew the direction that the body may be traveling.
Whoa, wait a minute. How can a
They know a lot. They know a lot about what was going on. That's true. And
bodies don't
they just-
normally travel on their own?
No,
Normally.
they don't. They don't.
unless you're a redheaded kid upside down.
So
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
saying,
Unless you're being carried.
having a little humor there. So the dead got up and walked. Is that what you're claiming?
No, it's going to be.
Another.
I think it's gonna. I think
Not like the story with the redhead kid, right? That one creature used as a doll. That's still
not
No.
not exactly.
Not exactly. Oh, here we go now.
Not exactly. So, yeah, Amanda's going to love it when we get further down. I know because I know what she's talking. I know what she's talking about.
You said corpse, so that means
Like I said, I know a lot about this.
So
you said corpse, so that means he's been on a lot.
well, they know which way he's traveling.
They don't know if he's dead or alive.
But they have a good idea which way he's traveling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's that bad.
Somebody saw something.
Yes.
Absolutely, God's guns and ammo. That's why they pulled civilians out of there. That's my opinion.
Civilians ask too many questions and are curious about everything. Yeah.
The fewer people you have, the easier it is to control the narrative.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I was taught that in media relations when I took that class. The fewer the people you have to convince, the easier it is to make people believe a story.
That's like psychology too.
Yep. The smaller masses will convince the larger masses.
Yep.
And you know we can go down a rabbit hole on that, right? That subject.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Oh, don't get me started.
We're gonna have to get
Another,
Amanda on the Patreons with this, where we really deep dive.
another
I'd
rabbit
love
hole.
to.
Time
Yeah,
travel is something with the
Call me
time.
Alice in Wonderland. I love the rabbit hole.
What I find an interesting rabbit hole to look into, and President Trump came and talked something about time travel.
Oh, good.
What the hell have they been screwing around with time for? You know?
exactly. Right, right. So
Have y'all
let's
ever,
start.
like, sorry about that. I'll get back on subject here.
So let's start looking at some things I think that y'all are going to find interesting too, because I figure the talking points are fixing to explode now. I even made a note. I said, this is where it's going to start getting interesting in my notes. Was you wanting on here to say something? Oh,
Me?
thought Kaylee. No, Kaylee. She was standing here. I was like, everything okay? Is it charging it fast? Okay.
Hi,
Kaylee,
Kaylee. Hi, Kaylee.
Amanda said, hello, Kaylee. She said, hello.
I said hello in the chat.
Then she said, hello in chat.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tell her I don't know how to moderate and show at the same time.
She can't moderate and do all that at the same time, so she told you hello. So you get a hello from outside of chat and a hello in the chat. So,
Double hello for me.
she said double hello from her too.
at
So
least
that
she's not throwing at you today. That's a good thing.
yeah, well, I got to be nice to her because we got boots on the ground tomorrow in the woods, so I'm not going to make her too mad.
And she done said that she doesn't have to outrun you; she can just trip you.
Well, she's
Yeah,
she's also been strapping too.
well, there you go.
I would suggest you let her carry the keys just in case, because usually the person out front, especially the one who's heavily armed, is going to be taken down first.
Well, I think it's better for the slowest person. Everybody's telling you hello, Kaylee. I think it's better for the slowest person to keep the keys. That way he doesn't get left.
That's the whole point. Give her the keys.
Right. Okay, so that Monday, a Spartanburg, South Carolina police dog was also used in the search. So now they decide to bring the dogs in. Another reason, my theory is, they know where the body is headed, or the boy. They know which way, the direction he's headed. Because now they're bringing in the dogs. Why they didn't bring them in before, I don't know. But it did not uncover any results. Throughout that week, rangers investigated a report of a boy seen wearing similar clothes as to what Martin was wearing when he disappeared, as well as a report of a decaying odor near the park line that was later determined to be the dog carcass. Later on, the missing boy was decided by the FBI that it was not important, that it was not the child. It didn't pan out, but they're wondering now, man, we canvassed this whole area. How did we miss a dying or a dead dog? How did we miss a dead dog? If we missed a dead dog, couldn't you miss a child? Absolutely. We're talking about a 6-year-old. He weighed, I believe, when I looked at his the report they done, he was 55 pounds, I believe, something like that.
That's about how much a 6-year-old weighs. Yeah.
Did the dog belong to the kid, or is it just a stray dog that we know nothing about?
Just
The
a
dog
stray,
yeah.
yeah, just a stray
Okay.
dog.
So
He just, he's,
it's not linked to the disappearance of the kid.
No.
no. So June 29th, 1969. I'm a young guy. I wasn't even born yet, guys. I think Amanda was like 5. No, really.
1969. I was born in 83.
A meeting was held with Martin's parents. Here's the thing. The FBI agent, the chief ranger, and 2 other rangers to discuss where the search would go from there. Number one, guys, FBI does not look for missing people, only in very, 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 like, minute circumstances does the FBI get involved in just a missing person.
FBI only gets involved if it's a kid. Missing kids, FBI gets involved. But other than
Right.
that, they don't look for missing people. No.
So some of the points from the discussion that are included in the case file were that there was no evidence to support a kidnapping, and that the chief ranger said they were prepared to continue the search for up to 90 days with 3 of their best men, who could also handle volunteer searchers. Okay, so the rangers have set aside enough assets that they're saying, hey, they're calling off the search, but I got some of my best men out here. We're willing to go 90 more days and try to find this child. You know, the FBI at this point, they're saying, shut down the search. It's done.
Yeah.
You're not going to find him. It's over.
Yep.
So it's kind of like the FBI and the park rangers are butting heads right here. Because,
they didn't get along at all.
right. It was not a joint
No.
search. They both were. The FBI just pretty much told them, "Hey, we're pulling out. You need to end this. It's over."
Yeah.
And the park ranger said, "Hey, you know, my guys are still wanting to find this child. You know, we got 90 days of supplies, 90 days of funds. These are my best men. They can even handle volunteer searchers. You know, we can go for 90 more days, 3 more months." So the end of that happened. FBI got their way, and the search and rescue was discontinued.
Yeah.
Now, we can sit here and we can play around a minute, and I'll give you my theory, what I think. I think the body's already been recovered. You have the FBI flying black helicopters in and out of there that are not, they don't have their transponders on. They could have moved anything in or out of there. I believe at this point that it would be good to speculate that there's been a body found, and that the FBI, without saying on paper or telling the Rangers, because they're not getting along, it doesn't sound like the FBI really trusts the Rangers. They're saying, hey, listen to us. Shut the search and rescue down. You're not going to find him. And the park rangers are like, you know, there's no body. We got to find the body. I mean, we got a 6-year-old out here, and the FBI's like, listen to us. You're not going to find him.
Yeah.
You would think somebody with common sense would start questioning the FBI. What do you mean you're not going to find them? What do you know that we don't know?
It wouldn't matter. They wouldn't tell you.
Of course. And they're not going to put anything like that in an official paperwork trail.
No, they're not.
There's got to be records somewhere of these people coming up. Somebody's got to know something. Wouldn't that
I know
be
where
cool
they're
to
at.
get dry?
They're in the X Files.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the X-Files. There we go.
There's an
That's why-
episode of the X-Files where Mulder and Scully, they find this, I don't know, it's an old building, and it's got just, as far as you can see, nothing but old files with files and data in there. You know there's got to be a like that, with all this information sitting in it, of all the missing people, what took them, what killed them. You know that there's somebody that's in the know that has all this data. I just pray that one of these days, one of these people will come forward with this information. Like that list that David Plotty tried to get from a national park, and they wanted like $1.2 million for the list. Hopefully one day.
Anyway.
That'd be cool to see that data, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I don't think they would have gave him the real list anyway. They would have gave him a list of what they wanted him to know, but not all the people that were missing, because they'll never divulge that information ever.
Not intentionally, but maybe somebody on their deathbed or something one day will come forward.
Hopefully, huh? That would be great.
It's like I saw it. There was an officer in the Air Force on Roswell. On his deathbed, he said that was a real UFO. That was not a weather balloon. And why would people die or lie on their deathbed? They wouldn't.
No, they have nothing to gain from it.
And have y'all heard or seen any of the information that's been recently declassified by the U.S. government about UFOs?
Yeah.
If you haven't, take a deep dive into it because the information is mind-blowing. Which 90% of the people probably don't know about it, but I know a lot of things that we probably can't even talk about here.
The live would go out.
Yeah, we would get shut down.
The show would be shut down.
I was watching a YouTube channel yesterday on a live show, and I'm not going to say the name or channel, but they're talking, and they were talking about the families in charge of certain things in this world and how it's operated. And when the information was getting really good, you would start hearing beats. They were editing and bleeping out on the live show, so you know they're watching.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Good to see you, Candy. Glad you'll be able to make it. Great music fan. Good to see you also. So
Hi, Candy.
here's where I found another contradiction, guys, as I went through the reports. So we've got the park rangers saying, hey, we got 90 days supplies and funding to be able to do this, and we're able to use search and rescue. We have guys that can still do this. Give us 90 days. I mean, the funds are there. Let us do it. What's it going to hurt? I mean, worst case scenario, we're going to find this family's child, right? Here's what was said that really frustrated me, and it's a huge contradiction. At that point, more than 13,000 man hours, 50,500 of service equipment and supplies were used in the search. In letters, National Park Service officials noted that there were more volunteers than they could accommodate at the search. Undoubtedly, the most extensive of its kind in the history of the national park. Now, here's the weird thing. You're talking about deathbed confessions. One of the main guys there said, we had no problems accommodating the search and rescue. We had 90 days of supplies left. And he said, I don't know where these GD letters came from that they're saying came in, because we sure didn't see them. And we sure didn't see the personnel, because we could have used everybody. So he's pretty much calling a 3-letter agency liars, saying, there's not too many searchers. We have the money. You're shutting us down. What's going on? That gentleman, 3 weeks later, retired and went missing.
Do you have his name?
Redacted.
The FBI agent, is that who you're talking about?
The guy that called the 3-letter alphabet agency out is no longer able to be found.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he kind of...
He was silent.
He retired.
He probably sleeps with the fishies.
Mike, you know what happened to the FBI agent, right? The one who was on the case?
Have you heard that the way they have to get rid of a body, they liquefy the body and put it into the drain system and recycle it into our water?
Yeah.
But that's another rabbit hole.
Wow. Amanda, what do you have on the FBI agent? Allegedly.
Allegedly. The FBI agent, the main guy that was running the whole thing for the FBI, some years later, after he retired or whatever, he unalived himself. He unalived himself.
Yeah.
Now, there's been a lot of people who have been unalived that didn't do that themselves.
Yeah, but I think that he did because his family said that ever since that Martin case, he hadn't been the same. And
did he see or find out something that caused him mental issues, George?
I mean, that's what I think, but it doesn't really tell anything about that. It just says that he unalived himself. So.
If you think about it, it would be hard. And I'm just throwing this out there as just a probable opinion. if he knew what actually happened and he saw photos of some things that he couldn't live with and hiding that from a family, that'd be pretty hard to swallow.
Yeah, no, that would be a horrible thing. You can't find the kid, and you have to live with that.
And you know the truth and you can't tell the truth.
Yeah.
But still, you don't think that they intentionally caused him that? You don't think he had any help in him going crazy?
I think absolutely there is a high probability that somebody could have helped him.
Because some of these that finding 3-letter agencies practice some horrible practices. In MK Ultra, that's a real thing, and it actually is a lot more effective than what a lot of people know.
So here's where there was a lot of confliction going on. You got 3-letter agency arguing with the Park Services. Excuse me. Guess who wins? 3-letter agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
September 13th, 1969, the official search for Dennis Martin was ended. 6 days before that, a letter was written by the Great Smoky Mountains National Park superintendent said that he and his assistant chief ranger shared personal opinions that if Martin is ever found, he would be found within a few miles of the shelter near where he disappeared. Okay, so what they're doing there, for some people that may not, read reports or anything, what they're doing there is they're foreshadowing. What they're doing is they're telling you that they're probably going to come out and say that he died due to the elements, that he died of exposure. And he wasn't far away from everybody. He probably slipped and, fell down the side of a mountain or something, and he passed away from exposure. If anybody is sensitive to a little more in depth, you may want to leave now because I'm going to share some information with you that was in a report that was released by a coroner that gave his opinion. So I'll give you all a little bit of time to exit if you don't want to hear that part.
Which means somebody found this kid. They did an autopsy, and these are the findings.
No.
No. I think everybody's had enough time. They could have clicked out by now. The coroner's opinion and theory was that he was probably afraid and scared, lost, and he hid under bushes or something because of the rain, and he died very cold and afraid, waiting for his dad or grandfather to find him, that he would perish to the elements, or had perished because of the elements.
But where's the body?
And what is he basing this information off of? How is he coming to this conclusion with no body?
It's just what he thinks happened.
That was just a theory. Well, what they're doing at this point, and again, in my opinion and speculating, they're building a death certificate.
They're sweeping the rug and moving on.
They're looking for closure of the case. How are we going to close this case?
He might Gary even said Gary in chat, the FBI agent who investigated the missing people in the park committed suicide.
Right.
My wife's putting, guys. One moment.
So I dug a little deeper and I started looking at what were some of the beliefs that people think happened, right? Some of the people believe, and here's where it's going to start, I think, getting really good to conversation, is some of the people believe that Dennis Martin was the victim of a more vicious attack by cannibalistic feral humans who are said to live mostly undetected in the national park. And the reason nothing was ever found of his body or clothing was because they were hidden far from view in the safety of their own colony. Now, in order for me not to give away my end theory, I'm going to abstain from making a comment on that, and I'm going to let you all talk about that one. What you all think?
That's one of the theories that a lot of people think is what happened to him, but that's not what I think.
Okay, so you okay?
I'm not going to go any further until after we're done, so I can tell you what I think. But
Okay, what do you think? Do you agree or disagree with that? Randy?
I'd have to agree. Without a body, it's just speculation, and will speculation hold up in the court of law? No, it won't. But this is their attempt to cover this up, get the death certificate, and y'all move on with your lives and quit looking at this. And it's just the same MO that we've seen time rinse and repeat. It's just their MO. Or am I wrong? Have we not seen Earth thieves in other cases? Same MO exactly, almost to a T.
Right. Well, there's another one. For their part, the Martins family. Are we getting a feedback? I'm getting a feedback. Is anybody else?
Mike, or your mic? Are you using push to talk? Or are you using open mic or voice activation? I think is what we're hearing.
Okay, it might be me.
I'm hearing.
So
it's like. Go ahead.
One of my earphones died on me a second ago, so maybe it might be me.
that might be it. That's okay. So, for their part, the Martins family believes that someone may have kidnapped their son. Harold Key was 7 miles. Here's the witness, guys. There was a gentleman that came forward. His name was Harold Key. He was 7 miles from Spence Field the day Dennis Martin went missing. That very afternoon, Key heard a sickening scream. Then Key spotted what he called an unkept stranger hurrying through the woods. Now, while he was hurrying through the woods, this stranger had what he called a cloth or clothes over his shoulder that matched the same color of clothing that Dennis Martin was wearing.
Red.
You're saying some other person or creature was wearing this kid's clothing.
No, over his shoulder. It's over an unkept man's shoulder, is what he stated. And this man is moving really fast through the woods and up a hill. Up a mountain, I guess. A mountain.
That's not a human doing that.
Or is it?
Not a normal carrying the kid up the mountain. And what speed did this witness say this person was traveling?
He just said he was running. He didn't say he was going like abnormal speed or anything like that.
He just said he was fast.
Yeah. He just said he was moving fast up the side of the mountain with something on his shoulder.
And he saw colors of the clothing that might have been that kid over that, whatever that thing was, shoulder. Is that what we're getting at here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So, a little bit of my theory on that is I understand the family believing that it was a feral person. The reason that I believe that the family would say that is we're taught that these monsters do not exist, and they're looking for the most acceptable explanation for their child going missing. Nobody wants to think that a monster has your child, running through the woods. And so I can totally understand. One thing that really surprised me about this, honestly, was that Mr. Key said that he heard a sickening scream. which tells me that the child was alive. If it was indeed the child, that the child was alive, and we know by the reports, if you dig deep, this would have been within 1 hour of the child going missing.
Yep.
Now, years after Dennis disappeared, a ginseng hunter found a child's skeleton about 3 miles downhill from where Dennis went missing. The man waited to report the skeleton since he had allegedly taken ginseng from the national park. He didn't want to get in trouble or think that he was linked to the body. Now listen to this. Remember this. When the FBI shut... I said it. So when they shut down the case, what was it that the director said when he shut it down? I'm pretty sure that this child is going to be found within the missing area site within 3 miles. The ginseng guy found a skull within 3 miles of that site. Imagine that. And this agent already knew that if that child was found, he was going to be found within 3 miles of where the incident took place. And by golly, there was a skull found there. It was never identified as him, but it was found there.
Yep.
Tell me that's not crazy.
I have a question. Why hasn't somebody done DNA on that skull by now?
Because national parks are in control of their parks, and they do not have to outsource if they do not want to.
But they did say that it wasn't Dennis's skull.
I don't believe anything they say. I'm sorry.
I knew you was going to go there.
It's like the story of you've got the sheriff in the town, and he also runs the morgue. And if you say anything wrong, they just kill you or unalive you and bury you and anything of it. Same thing here.
So let's talk a little bit about the Green Berets that showed up. So in the official report, they were not in there, or it was redacted, but they were not mentioned. But it was stated by a media observer that the Green Berets did pose for a photo, and they were unarmed. They were not armed. They were not hunting anything. They were only assisting in a search and rescue, right? So here's the thing. Even though they took an unarmed photograph, a media reporter stated that once they done the unarmed photograph, that after the media was being moved from the location, that they observed them being armed and weapons were being handed out as the media was asked to leave the area. Now, that cannot be confirmed nor denied, but that is what a person alleged.
They were there to kill the rabid dogs killed the kid. That's what it was. Those little packs of dogs that run around and kill all these people. I'm sure they were there to resist the rest.
And it took the Green Berets to take care of this dog, right?
Yep. Must have been a badass thing.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Serious power when you bring the Green Beret.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say the Green Berets were there, but they had nothing to do with the search. Like, they weren't involved with the FBI. They weren't involved with the national park. They were there doing some sort of mission or some sort of thing that was really secretive because they were not involved with the search at all. Like, with FBI or the park services. They were not there for that. But they were there at the same time, but they never divulged what they were there for.
Right. I actually looked into a police report that I will share some information with you guys. A colonel in that police report stated that the Green Berets were asked to come in to assist in the search and rescue for a missing child. The Green Berets told the National Park Service and the FBI that they would assist in a search and rescue, but they could not work with them in any way. That they are trained to work together as a team And all of their information, all their findings, and all their reports would be sent up to the highest level. And if they wanted it, they would have to retrieve that information from the higher ups. Okay, so
Okay,
you're
that makes
right on that. They didn't work officially together, but they were all looking for the child. Which one person said he do what?
Oh, I just know that they were being very secretive about what they were doing, and they weren't like helping with the search people, and they weren't talking with them or the FBI. That's like one thing that I heard. But,
I
Yeah,
have a question.
they done their own search for him.
I have a
yeah,
question for you. Do we know the name of this particular unit of the Green Beret that was there? Because I have a theory.
Negative.
This is those special elite units that carry out removal of Nephilim creatures when they go killing human beings. I've
that's
heard
what a
of
lot of people are speculating
special
that they were
force
there
units
for.
that when the Nephilim or these monsters go killing humans, that they'll send one of these elite teams in there to wipe them out, to capture or kill them.
Right. Well, I dug a little deeper,
Yay!
and the official report. This was not in the official report, but it was in a report. And what a lot of people, just to clarify so people understand, whenever you have a lot of officers in an area, every officer is going to make a report. That's what you do. Everybody makes their own report, and then you have what they call the official report. The official report is where all the other reports are taken in, and then they decide what goes in the official report. So that's where things can get redacted, removed, they can get changed. You know, that was kind of what I used to do at my job. It would come through to me, and I would tell officers, like, you need to fix this, you need to fix this, you said this wrong, you're leaving yourself open here, you need, it needs to be like this, and they would fix it. Uh-huh.
Under the Freedom of Information Act, would there be any way to get more than just the official report? Is there any way to get any other data on that?
They won't.
No,
They won't release it to you. And if you even try, they're going to tell you it's going to be $1 million.
and then they wouldn't give
And
you the right report.
yeah, you're like what Amanda said. You're going to pay $1 million for probably a
Yeah,
page of nothing.
yeah, exactly. You're gonna get the same thing that any other person would be able to get, which is nothing.
You're evidently you're not going to get any answers from these any truthful
Well,
answers from these three-letter agencies.
I think that you're better to get information from a 3-letter agency than you are from the National Park Service. The National Park Service, they have so
Doesn't
much control over them parks that not only do they not even keep a record of missing people, they don't have to release any of it.
nope.
But the FBI has jurisdiction over the parks because the FBI was able to shut that search down. So that shows you who has jurisdiction over those parks. The FBI and those three-letter agencies. Whatever they recommend on a particular situation is what's going to end up happening.
I believe that I would speculate that they were working with a higher power that made those recommendations that came down. So after I looked deeper, and I know y'all's going to really like this, this was not in the official report for some reason. I don't know why. It was released as a report, but not in the official report. So just so people understand those. A family from Carthage, Tennessee, was in the mountains that day looking for wildlife in Cades Cove, several miles from where Dennis went missing. They left without ever knowing about the search for the missing boy. Weeks later, when the father, Harold Key, learned about the search, he called officials and reported hearing a scream. This is where it changes, okay? Now, this is not, I have not changed this. This is how it is written. It's going from an unkept man to where he now says in his official report, he heard a scream and a figure running through the woods at a very fast speed with something over its shoulders that was read. News reports at the time indicated that Keith's son thought the figure was a bear running bipedally up the mountain at a high rate of speed with a red cloth or clothes over his shoulder. Later, they determined it was a disabled man hiding in the bushes. So,
In the bushes.
yeah.
That's funny.
That could have been a Bigfoot or a werewolf. I've seen
Right.
werewolves right there.
That's what they want you to
Right.
believe.
You know, I see a twist personally right here, and I'm not laughing because I think it's funny. I'm laughing because I'm being facetious, I guess, maybe. But whenever you have, okay, a person that is reporting something first person, an eyewitness, you have another eyewitness, which is the man's child. They're both saying a figure, it looked like a bear running bipedally, running very fast, and all this. And then they come back in the report and they say, that was a man hiding in the bushes. I mean, come on, dude. You know?
They completely changed the
It's
story.
like they're trusting you with pieces of the truth, but in the wrong sequence and in the wrong order, so you can't make it out.
Well, then
They're like,
the family, the Mr. Key even comes back and says, well, I'm not sure what it was, but it was definitely avoiding us and it was running fast up the mountain.
With something red.
Yeah, it was booking it too, dude.
And by the way, Dennis Martin was wearing a red shirt when he went missing.
Right.
so were they abducting the kid to adopt him into their family, or was that their dinner that night?
Good question.
Well, let's keep going then, Randy, because you're right on track. Officials, this is where I get so angry, man. This is where I get mad. Because the officials step in, and, they weren't there, but the officials discounted, guys. Yeah, you heard me. They discounted the connection because the distance and the rough timeline Key provided. It was impossible to think that someone would have snatched that little boy and had carried him all the way to that spot. So that theory was discounted and removed from the report.
Bullshit. Oops, excuse me. Sorry.
Yep.
I agree with
Exactly.
Amanda, 100%.
Yeah. They just take
Now-
whatever out that fit their narrative,
Exactly.
You're never truthful answers from these agencies.
Yeah.
So one of the, well, I mean, just like what you're talking about, Randy, and I think I'm starting to read into Amanda a little bit, is one of the most popular theories involved was, the wild men, the feral humans who lived and survived in the mountains wilderness. And they say they go about, snatching livestock and children at night. And this is known to happen in the Smoky Mountains. It's not like this is something new. I mean, the people say this does happen,
Yeah.
But then I thought this was really interesting. And this was in a report by a 3-letter agency. And this is what they said: entertainment purposes only. Now, I think you're going to find a strong connection, and I think you're going to kind of see. I'm just going to read it. These wild men are something or kin to little big feet. I want to read that again. These wild men or something are kin to little big feet. People believe some humans have lived in the wild, so they no longer are actual real people. They have changed. Some believe they have their own language, and apparently quite a putrid smell that forewarns of their arrival, which is just ineffective feral, if you ask me. Allegedly, they're cannibals too. Makes you wonder what they're doing with the livestock. But of course, these mountain people we've been hanging around with, they seem to believe in a lot of folklore up here and a lot of superstitions that we know to be fictitious or mythical stories.
Well, I can tell you anything that they say mythical, you need to change, or legendary, you need to change that to historic record, not
Exactly.
fact, and then look at it like that. These creatures, whatever they are, they're not myths, they're not legends, they're real.
Yep. Agree.
Anytime they list legendary or myth, they're covering up the truth. And you can see it now. It's the same MO, rinse and repeat.
Now, one of the things that I disagreed with, and y'all tell me what you think, officials stated that they believed at the time that Dennis either died from exposure to the elements or wildlife, bears, snakes, bobcats, or feral pigs, for example, all roam these woods and are in search for food at all times. Okay, so why I'm going to disagree with this is if an animal would have attacked Dennis, in my opinion, there would have been screams of a child being attacked and eaten alive. We know that from cases of other children being attacked by wildlife. We've had all kinds of reports of neighbors and everything that heard the commotion. It's a terrible thing to witness. There would have been shreds of his clothing in the area. There would have been a blood trail, which the dogs would have got immediately. There would have been a crime scene where that child would have been attacked. It wouldn't have been pretty.
Hey, I have a question.
I totally disagree with that theory that they had.
Me too.
Sorry, the question for you: where was this spotting of this creature running up the hill? How far away from the point of the abduction is this spotting? Do we know a distance?
7 miles.
7 miles. Yeah, 7 miles.
But then we have a finding of a skull 3 miles away. So did they kill him and eat and drop his skull 3 miles away from where they found him? Is this what we're trying to? Is this what happened to the kid?
I got a question for you and Amanda that I'll turn around and send it back to you. Why did the FBI state before they ever found it that they was going to find it within 3 miles of where it happened? How did they already know that?
Maybe they had advanced technology that they can look into a future on a case like that, like deja vu.
Or maybe they already had something that they was going to drop off there to be found.
Maybe they had some way of knowing ahead of time of what was going to happen on that situation. Has anybody seen the movie Deja Vu? They are able to look into the past to try to change the future with technology. It's a really cool movie. That's a good question, Mike. How does the agent know where this skull is going to be found 3 miles away without some advanced? How do we know that? How did he know that?
Right. Well, another thing that I found that I've never heard another channel talk about is this right here, and I'm going to put it out there, and it may make some people upset, but this is just going to be my opinion. After the family, Mr. Key had spoke to 3-letter agencies and was interviewed by the Park Services and everything after what he had seen, I thought it was pretty interesting that Mr. Key had give 2 statements prior to this statement. You noticed the statements that I read to you all earlier. He stated that they saw something running bipedally. It had red clothes over it or a cloth. It had something over its shoulder. It was the same color as Dennis Martin's shirt. Later on, the second interview, the Key said that the creature or figure was running very fast. It appeared to be a bear upright running, bipedally. So they pretty much stuck with their same story, okay? So then they go talk to these other agencies and they give another release. Now, in my opinion, what's happening here is they are doing what every agency always done. This has to be pushed to either be a human or an animal. This, no matter what, can be cryptid. Absolutely cannot go down that road. This cannot happen. So this is the third report. The scruffy person, after speaking with these agencies, Mr. Key, in fact, said His family encounter just after seeing the scream was wearing a bear skin. It was a man wearing a bear skin that was unkept. A few weeks later, after the disappearance, a family reported to the authorities for Dennis Martin that they had heard the scream of what they believed was a young boy. They were hiking in the woods near Rollins Creek, around 7 miles from where he had vanished. They also noticed an unkept man, it's an unkept man again, at the edge of the trees with something over his shoulder. Now, the FBI said that it was impossible for this to have happened, and they assured him it was probably just another camper in the area.
What time of the year was it? Do we know if it's warm or cold?
Uh,
It was
June.
June.
Nobody's going to be running around in a damn bear suit in June and then running up a hill with a stone over their shoulder. Sorry. That's just stupid. I mean, seriously. The guy's going to die of heat stroke.
Mike, did you hear about when the I don't know if you're gonna bring this up or not, but that when the Key family parked their car at the trailhead before they went up the trail, that there was a white vehicle that was kind of like parked oddly, like it was kind of like backed up in like covered by bushes when they parked their car and went up the trail to go find the bears. That's what they were looking for that day. And when
Yes.
they came back down, the white car was gone.
Yes. There was another report made on that. That car was actually stopped by one of the park rangers after it had left. And they
Okay.
had done a thorough search of the car. They stated that the car was there, that the couple had parked underneath the tree due to the shade and had had a picnic there, and that they were
Okay.
left. And all the vehicles, they said, were thoroughly searched as the park had been shut down at this point, and everything in and out was being thoroughly searched.
Well, there goes my theory on what happened.
Sorry.
I'm like, I didn't know all that. I knew that the car and that it was gone after that, but I didn't hear anything else about that. Dang it.
You can still
Now I
come
don't
to
know.
Oklahoma, though. It's okay.
I will.
I'm trying to figure out whose skull they found. Whose skull was that?
Never said. All they said was it wasn't his.
Yep.
Just
I mean,
supposed to take
you go walking in the woods. I mean, you're going to find a skull, right?
exactly 3 miles away where the FBI. That's just not a coincidence.
Right. I agree. So, okay. You guys give me your opinions. I'm at the end to where I'm at my opinion right now. I'm looking right at it. So I want your all's theories, and then I'm gonna give you all my theory, and we will see if we can come up with something a little different than everybody else's came out with.
Okay.
I would say that whatever happened to this kid was covered up by higher ups in the different organizations. From the park where it happened to the 3-letter agencies who came in there. That's my best opinion. I want to know whose skull that was. It would be nice if you could get a DNA sample from that skull to find out if they're telling us the truth. Trust but verify. Ronald Reagan. President Ronald Reagan.
Okay. I'll tell you what I think. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yep. I'm biting at the bit.
Okay, so since the white car didn't pan out, I still believe that Dennis Martin was abducted. And the reason why I believe this is because it took them so long before they even started searching for him, like you said, that somebody could have easily grabbed him and gotten out of the park because they didn't even know that he was missing for a long time. And they could have easily gotten out of the park and gotten away with him without anyone knowing. And also a big reason why I think that he was abducted is because his dad, William, or Bill, he went by Bill, but his father thinks that too. And he always thought that he was abducted from the park that he wasn't there, and that's why everyone's searching for him there. It was just a big waste of time because he wasn't in the park anymore.
Mhm.
There we go. That's mine.
That's a very good one. I like that.
What if this kid was intentionally taken and those three other
Yeah.
little agencies was behind on the cover up? Because the sex trade, we're finding out, is everywhere in everything. If y'all been listening to any of this information that's coming out, it's horrific. The sex trade information without going into any details. Could this be a part of that? Could some of these kids that's coming up missing in our parks, not the ones getting taken by monsters, but could there be some other people involved in their disappearance? Could humans be behind some of these?
Could be, or it could just be a sick pervert that saw an opportunity to take a little boy and get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, 12 hours, you can get a long way in 12 hours in a vehicle.
Exactly. But it wasn't the white car. All right, Mike, what's your theory? Come on. Come on now.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so here we go. So what I done is I tried to stick to the evidence as best as I could without speculating, but there's going to be speculation in this because that's really all we have when we deal with these things. So I am going to give you my personal opinion, and you all can tear it apart if you want to, but I think it's maybe a little different than what most people have thought. So here we go. I believe in this case that we can all agree that there was a lot of failures in the case. Not using the dogs fast enough is one of them, and not using Mr. Key's statement as evidence. I believe that was a failure. I believe we had a crucial piece of evidence, and I believe that it was not used, and I believe that was a huge mistake. Now, after looking very deep into this case, I did find things that were not mentioned at all, and in fact left out of the reports and the media. Based on the information that I have, this would be my opinion or my theory. I do not believe Dennis Martin was taken by feral people, nor do I believe Dennis Martin was taken by a human. Now I'll explain my theory. I do believe it's very possible that Dennis was in fact taken by a cryptid or something not human based on this. What Mr. Key seen was the size of a young child. And we know that child weighed 55 pounds, approximately the weight of a bag of feed if you're a farmer. And then we know that he describes that it was fast. It was an unkept man. An unkept man moved into an unkept man after the investigation, after he spoke to these agencies. But before that, he was very thorough, him and his son, at saying that this was a bipedal bear that was running upright. Now, what I took into consideration on the bear is dimensions of the bear, a man versus a bear. A bear is a lot bigger than a man, so in my opinion, what they observed running was something larger than a man, hairier than a man, and would be brown or black in color, which would cause somebody to speculate they see a bear running. Now, I believe what caught their attention was the red cloth or clothes over his shoulder, which I believe and would speculate is very, very, very conclusive to being Dennis Martin. And the reason I believe that is because all of these things that transpired happened within 60 minutes of each other. Okay? Because if they would have happened in a further time frame apart from each other, then we would have looked at those as separate incidences in an investigation. But a lot of things that happen within that first 60 seconds, that is actually a time frame that we are taught to work within. Everything within that 60 seconds that links to that case, most of the time is going to be vitally important. Okay? So I do believe it's possible that Dennis was taken by a cryptid or something not human based on this. What Mr. Key seen through the woods before he was interviewed, and I believe, in my own opinion and in my theory and entertainment purposes only, that his narrative was changed to meet the narrative of a human, because I believe they were pushing this all along. The color of the clothes or the cloth that was being carried, I do believe matters, because they don't tell you this. Mr. Key witnessed this 1 hour after Dennis Martin went missing. That was left out, guys. You've got to look deep into the first 60 minutes. That is one of the things we are really taught and pushed on. 60 minutes is important. All of these things happening within 60 minutes, does it mean they have to be related? No. Does it mean that they are related? Very high probability, based on the young boy screaming, the color of the shirt, and something evading the area at a very fast speed. Okay? So those all, to me, are very probable. That's probably as close as we can get to anything is probable. So, Mr. Key, another thing that I observed whenever I went through this is I noticed something. Mr. Key was 7 miles from the incident site. I do believe, based on the timeline, the color and the size of the clothing over this, an unkept man, in parentheses, as I said, back matched Dennis Martin's shirt, and how he said it was moving so fast. He was very, he said that so many times in his report, and he emphasized so fast. It was moving so fast. Okay? Like he hadn't seen nothing move that fast bipedally. Up a mountain, guys. This is up a mountain and very tough terrain, okay? So this thing moved approximately, guys, if you do the math, this thing moved approximately 7 miles in 1 hour in harsh terrain, up and down mountains, over creeks, through valleys, through flooded waters that were turbulent in the area that were unnavigationable for over 16 hours. Now, you take into consideration that not only had this creature moved 7 miles against terrain like that, but we also have to remember back to the very first, to where the storm happened, that this creature didn't have a 1 hour head start. It had an approximate 12-hour head start, guys. This thing could have moved theoretically over 60 miles just in the first 12-hour head start it had. That doesn't mean that it stopped moving after that 12 hours. It means it had a 60-mile possible range of 12 hours being unhunted, unlooked for, moving freely through a cave or over mountains or hills, wherever it went. It had a very long time before those search patterns would have even expanded out to where it was at. And within that time, in my opinion, with the amount of speed it was moving, it would have been outside of even the 56-mile square that they searched. So, in my personal opinion, I do not believe a man, a woman, or a human, or a child could move that far in that terrain that fast over the conditions, even the weather with the flooding and the turbulent waters, that the military and the Green Berets even said were untraversable. And that's my opinion based on what I could gather, and that would be what I would say.
Hey, Mike, question
Yeah,
for you. Can
sure.
you carry 5 pounds, 7 miles in 1 hour?
No.
Did anybody on the official side look at this, the travel rate, do a little basic algebra here? 7 miles in 1 hour, then estimate that on the hours. How far would he have been? Well over that. What was it, 54 or 56 radius?
It was not even considered, because that part was considered not. It was not considered as evidence. It was discontinued. It was removed.
So if this creature decided to leave the area, by the time the search team got there, it's already gone. So why were they there wasting all this time if they knew it was out of the area? And why the massage, or why the smoke and mirrors with taking and leaving only a handful of people, unless there's something going on that they're not telling us? They're leaving out some of the data because some of this don't make sense.
Well, I think
That
even whenever you look at the data and you go back and you look at even all the statements of it could have been a man, it could have been a feral person, could have been a man in a bear suit, it could have been this, it could have been that. When it comes down to facts, the basic facts, we know that something that matched the description of Dennis Martin was 7 miles from the incident site within 1 hour. Can you carry 55 pounds in terrain that the Green Berets cannot traverse and do it in 1 hour, or it may be under an hour? It was within the hour. 55 pounds where the Green Berets can't even traverse it?
I would say it's impossible for a normal human being to accomplish that. They
But then we
can't
have to.
drag that kid across raging rivers from all the damn rain. People don't, that the power of water is incredible. And a normal human being, you're not going to swim across that carrying 55 pounds. And not just, there's probably more than one stream too, wasn't there, that they had to cross? Not to mention going up through terrain on a mountainside, and they're calling it normal human. I've never seen a bear carry anything on its shoulders. Have you?
Right. Yeah, Don Moore's right. That thing would have been moving at 7 miles per hour through terrain that the Green Beret said they couldn't navigate with an extra 55 pounds.
But also, this would have been before it started raining, because remember, the rain didn't come until the evening, and he went missing at 4:30, and this was like an hour later. So it would have been nice weather still. So realistically, I mean, not saying a human could move that fast because they couldn't, but I mean, it had a little bit better weather, and the terrain was better because it hadn't rained yet. It wasn't yucky yet.
Right.
That is,
well, and that's what I was. Right, and that's what I was saying at the beginning. I mean, not counting the other hours it was traveling.
Yeah.
This thing made 7 miles with 55 pounds in terrain that they said was like, I mean, there was drop offs and there was cliffs and there was I mean, they said it's terrible in there.
Now, isn't there one theory that these creatures aren't going to take humans from the area that they live in, so they're not hunted? Because they are intelligent. I think I've heard that the people coming up missing aren't being taken by the creatures that live in that area because these creatures are smarter than that. They know if they take humans and live there, that the humans are going to find them.
I think that what I tried to do is I done it like I would, if I was working on a case when I was working, is I took into consideration what you would call probable cause. And within that first 60 minutes, having something that matches a child's description that I think was really important was before he was interviewed, that to him, it was a bear. It was so fast. It was going up the mountain. And that's what a lot of people ain't taking into consideration is this thing's going up a mountain so fast. I mean, it's doing something that evidently the father and son have never seen before because they watched it so closely that they were like, man, this thing looked like a bear. This thing was huge and it was going up this hill and it was so fast, and it's bipedal, dude. This thing's not only doing it. I mean, I could see if they would have said, okay, we saw something running up the hill on 4 legs with a shirt in its mouth or clothes in its mouth was the same color. Then I'm going to say, okay, a bear might have ate him. But whenever you got 2 people, eyewitnesses that say bipedal looked like a bear with it over its shoulder, how do you carry a heavy bag of feed? Exactly.
Over your shoulder.
Yeah, over your shoulder.
And bears don't run on their back legs and they damn sure don't carry crap on their shoulders.
Right.
When you look at that and you look at the inconsistencies in the reports, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out, hey, there's something strange going on here. There's too many red flags that say, hey, this isn't the truth that we're getting.
I agree. And Therese, thank you so very much for that donation. God bless you for that. I tried to catch it and I couldn't catch it. Chat's flying. You know, I think the one thing that we all can agree on, even if we have different, opinions, which is totally fine because we're all going to have different opinions. And I think that the one thing we can agree on is there was a lot of mistakes made in this case. And I think that if a lot of things were done differently, we could have had a better outcome than what we had. And I think that is something that we can learn from and hopefully initiate into search and rescue, is to not to make the same mistakes again whenever it comes to rescuing or saving any individual, especially our children.
Yeah, this was in 1969, so it was quite a while ago. I think they're a lot better at tracking people now, and they have more technology to do it. So,
well, another thing, Amanda, that blows my mind is we do have the better technology, but these same things are happening today with the same results. We're not able to track these things. For instance, there was a case that I listened to on a scanner live of a Blackhawk chasing a bipedal, I guess, panther is what they called it, down this river around here, and they was having trouble keeping up with it, and then eventually lost it and couldn't re-find it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Butterfly Life, for that donation.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. God bless you for that.
If they can cloak themselves, then they could easily hide also.
And if the creature lived he was down in the cave a long time before that search team ever got there.
If you think about this, and it's scary to think about, but imagine if this thing even grabbed that child, and instead of traversing all that land, it just went underground.
How much water is in the area? Surely there's a cave.
There's a lot of creeks and rivers.
Yeah. So, guys, if you go out, you have your children with you. Don't take your eyes off of them. Supervise them.
Definitely.
Yeah, don't take that chance. It just takes a second, man, and they're gone, and they're found miles away if they're found. And it almost makes you wonder, is our search and rescue, are we doing it wrong? And that would be a good question for Ron Cross that was on the show the other night. In these situations to where, and I think it needs to be discussed, is in these situations to where we have missing people, do we need to reverse how we do our search and rescue? Do we need to start, say, 56 miles out and come in instead of in and out? With the speed of these things, do we need to already be out in front of them? Do we need to have people out in front and then people behind moving together? Is there a different way that we need to approach this to make sure, is a woodland search different than a city search? Absolutely. So should we do both searches the same? I think they should be looked at, and I think there's better ways to do it. If these things have the fallen angelic powers that I believe they do, I believe they are going to have attributes that weren't, a lot of people aren't going to believe or see unless you put the red lensed, night vision goggles on people. Then they're able to see everything. They start shooting at dragons and everything. But I think if you go out there and you're already up against something smarter than you, faster than you, and better than you, and you're in its environment, it's not in yours. And I just think that I'm going to ask you all a question, and I'm going to back out and let you all talk and Was our national parks really meant for us, or was they meant for something else? And they had to let us in there to cover it up.
Meant for something else, 100%.
They allow, my opinion is, they know the monsters are there. Some of these could be government experiments. These could be created creatures, and they intentionally let the people in there knowing that they have to eat and that they're going to occasionally take human beings, and they determine that because of the money flow, it's acceptable lawsuits. They don't care about the people or the children. They care about your money that you're paying to get from that park, and that's the bottom line. Anything that's going to interrupt their money, they're going to cover it up. Anything that's going to stop the money flow. That's my opinion. In the search aspect, you would need open disclosure, and these agencies need to be able to openly talk about this stuff with the public to remake, I think, a better system, because how many times does this system not find them? Maybe they need to change how it works, or maybe we need better communication between these different organizations, and the truth needs to be told, not
Or
the lie.
maybe as the veil thins, we're just outmatched.
Yep.
Looking at the data, looking at your boots to the ground over the last couple of months, how much intensity and ferocity that these encounters that you are having are increased, and the increase is significant. And then I'm hearing from other people and other sources that they're having increased encounters with some crazy crap. I mean, this stuff that they're encountering, I can't even talk to you about. Not on this platform. It's weird and crazy. The veil's dropping, guys.
Well, I think we just need to. Why don't we just schedule a Patreon and let's talk about the veil?
Yeah, that might be interesting.
I think we could talk about the veil, and we could talk about the moon landing on a Patreon. What do you say?
Yes.
It's hard to believe that when you're grown up and been brainwashed by these like say the public schools, you believe everything they teach you, and then you find out when you get older that it's all bullshit about some of this stuff that they taught us. Then you want to question everything before you believe anything.
I have a question for you, and I'm going to ask Amanda first. Amanda, and then I want Amanda's opinion on all this too. Amanda?
Yeah.
How did they ever get the man off the moon that filmed them leaving the moon?
You really want to hear it? My opinion on that is we never put a man on the moon, okay? So there's that there. And Mike, my other earphone's about to die.
Uh-oh. Do you want to give us your opinion real quick before you have to jump off of anything, or do you want to do the Patreon, or do you think that'd be fun? Just let us know anything you want to say, Amanda, before you have to leave.
Thank you. This was such a great night. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This was such a great night, and I had so much fun, and I want to say that I love everyone in chat, and I hope everyone has a great night.
Well, Amanda, we appreciate you being on here with us also, and I hope you'll come back and grace us again. You're a good co-host, and we enjoy you. You're a friend and a huge supporter, and we really appreciate you coming on, and thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Always. I'll always come on. I love it here.
Well, we appreciate that.
We love you
Good
too,
night,
Amanda.
Randy. Good night, Mike.
Good night, Amanda. You have a great night. So, that was, based on the information, Randy. It just, to me, as much as I wanted it to be feral, I just went against everything in my gut saying, this is not human.
A human couldn't travel that distance over that terrain in the time frame. I would have to concur with your conclusion.
That was mainly what really tilted my opinion, was the amount of the time frame, the distance, the terrain. I mean, you just can't make it work. And you're talking 1969 too. I mean, these people were not using special equipment to do that. It wasn't, in my opinion, it was something that was used to the area, that lived in the area, that hunted the area, that knew how to traverse the area, and it was super fast. Just like the guy said, it was so fast.
The storm was coming. It knew exactly what it could do and get away with.
Right. And I believe it
maybe
was already watching them. It had already watched those kids. It knew it was going to make a play. It was just waiting for the opportunity.
Could these creatures also know that the agencies are going to cover it up too? That they're not going to allow the truth to come out? What determines when a person is able to be taken by these things and when not? Wouldn't that be interesting to know? What is the determining factor on somebody coming up listening or not? Can we ever,
Right.
you know, I'd like to be able to give you a determinate answer on that someday, but right now I'm still trying to draw conclusions on that.
I agree. Randy, that's all I've got, man. If you want to head us out of here, and that's all I've got. That's it. I'm done.
Well, Mike, it's been a wonderful evening. I enjoy these conversations. You know, iron sharpening iron here. And ladies and gentlemen, we would not have a show without all of you folks. We love each and every one of you. Thank you, subscribers. Thank you, members. Thank you, moderators. God bless each and every one of you. God bless your families. And if you're ever in a situation and you don't know what to do, you just cry out to Jesus Christ and he'll show up. We love you, guys and gals. Y'all have a good night. And we'll turn this back over to Mike.
Like what Randy said, guys, I hope at least if you didn't agree with me tonight that I gave you all at least something to look at, something to investigate yourself, and to, you know, not just listen to what other people tell you, but to look for yourself, to give you something that causes you to go down that rabbit hole and not just take my word for it, but to investigate yourself, you know, question everybody. The information I gave you may not be what, you know, the outcome that you would come out with, you know, or what you think. I hope that we have given you some good ideas, and I hope that the opinion has made you all think, and that's mainly what we're here for, because when we start thinking, that's when we start finding answers. So thank you, Sunshine. I appreciate that. So I hope you all did enjoy my opinion. That, like I said, I dug deep. I went as deep as I could. I asked for favors. I looked at things, and he also concurred with me, if that helps any, that's been a investigator a lot longer than me. And whenever I told him what I was going to say tonight, he said, "Yeah, Mike," he said, "in my opinion, you still got it." So I knew he agreed with me. So that would be what I would say. And most of all, thank each and every one of you for being here. Tomorrow, me and Kaylee will be live, boots on the ground, AI Seeking the Truth, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, guys. Come and join us. Hang out with us. Make it big for her. She loves hanging out with you guys, and she's going to be carrying the camera tomorrow, which will be uploaded also. So with that being said, guys, I'm just going to say, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. Watch your kids all the time. Good night, and God bless.